This is Billionaire.Bryt, and I'm on my journey to 15K. I am driving, and I just had some sort of epiphany. And I was asking myself, I saw the moon on one side of the sky, and it's daytime, so I know the sun's on the other side. And I'm like, if the sun and sky are in the same sky, what does that mean? I mean, the sun and the moon are in the same sky, what does that mean? And, just contemplating, like, is the moon kind of like those glow-in-the-dark stickers where it needs sunlight to get light? And then I started thinking, what would it take for the sun to go black? At first I was thinking,
take exit 55A toward California,
and that's how you know I'm
Santa
driving.
Monica Boulevard.
I was thinking, well, if the moon gets too close to the sun, then it would explode, it would burn up. But then I was like, is there something hotter than the sun that would make the sun explode? I was like, well, it may not explode, but what if it turns black? What would make the sun turn black? And it just very quickly pointed towards, of all the great and awesome and sometimes horrifying scientific anomalies that happen throughout our years, throughout our experiences as human beings in general. How do these things happen? Why do these things happen? And it dawned on me that similar to how money is a tool for us to get what we need and to do what needs to be done, science is God's tool.
In half a mile, take exit 55A toward California 2, Santa Monica Boulevard.
Science is God's tool, in a sense that there's something that needs to be done, and so there needs to be something put together to create it and have it happen. And that's just the simple law of things.
In a quarter mile, use the right 2 lanes to turn right onto Santa Monica Boulevard.
Oh my God. Okay. So, I'm losing my train of thought. Daggone GPS.
Use the right 2 lanes to turn right onto Santa Monica Boulevard.
Okay. Science being God's tool. I think that makes sense. And it explains to me the relationship between science and a higher power. And it's all to God's glory, because if there was no science and therefore no understanding of certain things that can't necessarily be explained, it makes you want to acknowledge the powers that be. It makes you want to say, dang, like, I know that A plus B equals C, but I gotta be amazed at the fact that there even is an A or a B to begin with, and that whatever thought to put A and B together to get C is a freaking genius. And it's like, yeah, to God be the glory. Because what type of, I can't even fathom the type of creative energy it would take to put together things like neural nets, protons, electrons, atoms, and then how they all connect together in certain different ways to create certain elements with which one could practice alchemy, which one could create other things. It's just like, which is why I appreciate alchemy, because from my understanding of it, it's basically going back to basics. The main elements of life and the existence of life, and manipulating them to create something else. And when you get down to it, even in alchemy, you pull from other sources. It's not just science. And so while people might say, oh, I'm a man of science. Okay, that don't mean you don't believe in God. That doesn't mean that there is no proof of a higher power or a God or some sort of omnipotent existence. And just because you say I'm a Christian or I'm a Muslim doesn't mean you don't believe in science. Science is, and math, is a product of, I would say not a product, but science and math are tools in which humans can find evidence of God. Which is why I say to God be the glory. Because if there were no traces of how A plus B equals C, we wouldn't even be close to understanding the power of creation and who the creator is. We'd be in the dark. We'd still be in the dark ages. And at the end of the day, it just continues to speak to why I love God so much. And why creativity is the one thing, the number one thing that I appreciate the most in the characteristics of God. Of course, there's grace and mercy and love and being able to wreak havoc on your enemies. All that stuff is cool. But what I love the most about my creator is the creating. That's what I like. I like the creativity the most. When I look up at the sky and I think of facts that say, no sky is the same. No landscape of the sky is the same. No star is the same. No snowflake is the same. And I'm like, do you know how much infinite creativity it takes to make every individual snowflake fall unique? I mean, really though. Do you? Because I'm limited to what I see in my dreams and in my natural vision. But God isn't. God is not. And that infinite creativity blesses me to know that it is still, it is always, and it never will go away. That is some amazing sugar honey iced tea at the end of the day. I just wanted to share my epiphany. And this is Billionaire.Bryt on my journey to 15K. I hope this touches you in some way. Peace and hair grease.